Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the garage. Welcome back to a new video. So recently we just got back from the track. It's been about a week or so. The tracks went super well. You know, we had a really good time out at Eagles Canyon Raceway. Everything went well with the car, performed flawlessly, no issues. I had a little bit of time to kind of set up, dial in some of the suspension, make some changes, as well as just get some good seat time and some more practice driving. But one of the things I noticed while I was out there is that my current wheel and tire setup, while it is already pretty aggressive for the F80 chassis, and it is a pretty wide setup on some 200 treadwear tires, I realized that I can go a little bit more aggressive and I'm missing a little bit of front grip. So the front tire size that I'm currently running is an 18 by 10 with a 275/35. This is a Bridgestone RE71 RS, and this is a 200 treadwear tire. Then in the rear, we're running an 18 by 11 with a 295/35 rear tire, also the same RE71 RS. Like I said, those are 200 treadwear tires, pretty aggressive, pretty sticky, great track tire, but the sizes could just be a little bit better. So in the rear, running a 295 is perfect, but in the front, we could squeeze a little bit more tire under the front fenders and, you know, be able to get a little bit more grip. So I'm actually running a front spacer with these wheels. That's a 10 millimeter spacer. This is a 18 by 10 plus 25 wheel. So we're basically running an effective offset of a plus 15. We have negative 3.4 degrees of camber, and you can see we still have quite a bit of room in this front fender for more tire to fit. So as you can see here, I picked up a new set of wheels. These are the Bimmerworld TA5Rs. They are a set of flow formed wheels, and I went with a square fitment so that we can fit as much tire underneath the F80 in the stock form. If we had SPL arms, you know, we'd be able to dial in the fitment a little bit better and be able to squeeze a little bit more aggressive tire underneath there. We would also require maybe the GT4 front knuckles and a few other different modifications, such as the steering lockout so we don't rub. Then you could get all the way up to, like, you know, a 305 squared or even a 315 squared. But for what I'm doing, HPD events, maybe some light time attack, you know, a 295 is gonna be perfect. I ended up picking up these. These are a square setup, 18 by 10.5 plus 36. I'm gonna be able to run this as a square fitment with a 20 millimeter spacer up at the front. And I have a set of 295/30s AO52s. So these are also 200 treadwear tires. And, you know, these are gonna be pretty sticky. I'm hoping, you know, a 295, it's quite a lot. It's what I have in the rear already, and I don't really have a problem with rear traction, but it would be nice to have a little bit more traction up at the front. And these things are super, super wide. 295 to fit up at the front is gonna be quite impressive, gonna look pretty cool. So I just wanna go over, these are a 18 by 10.5 plus 36. I just got them mounted a little bit earlier today, so I'm just gonna go ahead and spend some time, clean them up, go over them, some prep, what I have upcoming with the car, and some changes, and go over some of the mods that I've been doing. Okay, so we got these all cleaned up. We got them ceramic coated. You can see they are absolutely immaculate. They are super, super glossy. So like I said, the coating I used is Armor Detail wheel and caliper. It's a little bit of, you know, kind of a pain to install. It gets a little bit grabby when you're trying to wipe off the product, but the gloss that it gives, I mean, just look how deep black those wheels look. So the gloss that it gives, the sheen, the protection, mainly the protection that it gives is definitely worth it. Say overall, it only took me about an hour and a half-ish to do all four of these wheels. Obviously the faces and the barrels are coated. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull the car back in, and I'm too anxious. So I'm gonna need to see what these look like on the car. I wanna just go ahead and get them test fitted on. Like I said, I might drive around with them for, you know, maybe a weekend, 2 weekends or so, just to see how they look. Make sure that we don't run into any rubbing. Make sure that the car's not too low, because the 295/30 is about half an inch smaller in overall diameter than the 275/35 in the front, which means we should be lowering the front of the car by about a 1/4 inch. And the front lip's already pretty low, so it actually rubs when I hit this little divot down here in the driveway. It actually rubs on the Swiss tracks, so not really a big deal, but can't really go any lower. Let's go ahead and get the car pulled in, and let's get these bad boys thrown on. So like I mentioned before, these are Apex VS5 RSs. These are a forged wheel. These are 18 by 10 in the front, plus 25. And then I have a 10 mil spacer on there as well. And running a 275/35 tire on here. Works really well, no issues with it. Just looking for that extra little bit of traction. So let's get these new Bimmerworld TA5Rs thrown on and see how they look. So for the fronts, I have a 20 millimeter hub-centric spacer, and this is what is required in order to be able to fit this wide of a wheel. Let's get that sitting flush on there. These are the extended lug studs from Motorsport hardware. So this is what allows us to run that 20 millimeter spacer without extended bolts and changing them every time for the different spacer sizes. Okay, so you want to get at least 8 full rotations. That means we have enough thread, and I counted 10 full rotations. So we definitely have plenty of thread for these things to bolt onto. Oh man, you can see it's gonna look so aggressive. Oh, this is gonna look really, really good. Just hope we don't have any rubbing on track, but you know, as it sets down, it should camber in a little bit. If we have to, we can add a little bit of camber. We might have to go up to like -3.5, maybe even -3.6. Not really too worried about that, but oh man, just taking a step back, the black. I know it blends in on camera, but in person, the black looks so aggressive. Let's get the rear thrown on, and we'll do the other side, pull the car out, and I'll let you know how it looks. Okay, so I got the rear on, but I do just want to go over one thing real quick. So unfortunately, in the front, it was rubbing on the inside of the spring. So I'll throw up a photo on the screen of kind of what it looked like. And you can see it's rubbing on the bottom of the perch. So I went ahead and raised the front. It's a little bit underneath an inch on the actual coilover itself. Now that won't translate to an inch of ride height, but it will raise it. I'm guessing a little bit over half an inch, maybe a little bit less. Let's go ahead and get this thing lowered down, and let's see how it goes. But now we're clearing in the front, so you know, hopefully that clearance is enough. Hopefully it doesn't look too funky on the ride height. I think we'll be okay, but it's just something I'm gonna have to deal with if I want to continue to run these 295 squared. But that's, you know, something I'm willing to accept. Let's get this thing lowered, and we'll kind of see what the fitment looks like. Okay, so it's super aggressive in the front, and you know, honestly, I'm a little bit surprised, but it's not that aggressive in the rear. So these are plus 44 fitment, and then the plus 44 with a 5mm spacer, so that's an effective plus 39, and this is a plus 36. So we're already 3mm more aggressive, and yet it looks more tucked in. So I might throw on the 5mm spacer. The front's super aggressive. You know, the ride height's not too bad. You know, this ride height's not too bad, actually. I don't really mind it. It's a little bit higher than I wanted to be, but you know, it's probably pretty effective on track. If anything, maybe I just raise the rear a little bit so that it kind of still gives it that rake look. Yeah, it looks pretty good overall. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the car on the other side. Like I said, I think I'm gonna throw that 5mm spacer on the rear, especially we have a lot of clearance back there, so I think it should look fine. But I'm gonna go ahead and get it thrown on, and then we'll get the other side thrown on and get the car outside, take some more looks at it, maybe go for a little spin, just to make sure we're not rubbing anywhere. But looks good. well, here it is. I know a lot of you guys probably aren't fans of black wheels, but in person, this just looks so aggressive. I mean, the 295 on the front, I still can't believe we're fitting a 295 up here. And look at that. I mean, we are inside the fender line on the top. We are not poking past the front. Quite literally just perfect fitment up here. I actually went ahead and added the 5mm spacer in the back. Again, fitment is pretty perfect. So this is definitely a pretty cool look, I have to admit. Like I said, I'm gonna drive it around for the weekend or so, just to get a feel for it, make sure the car drives well. But fitment looks pretty good. I will say a 35 sidewall will probably look a little bit better. I think especially in the rear, it'll kind of fill it out a little bit more. But honestly, even though the car is probably close to half an inch higher in the front, almost, maybe only a 1/4 inch, somewhere in between there, it looks so aggressive that you almost don't even notice. So like, it just looks so race car with the black wheels that, man, this is making me debate. I might have to get the Apexes powder coated black again, just because I don't know how to beat this. I just think, especially with the black decals, man, this car looks so freaking good right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these torqued. We should be fitting, like I said, I'm gonna throw up a photo of what the clearance looks like on the inside of the front to the nitrons. And the saying is, as long as you can fit a business card through the gap, then you should be good. So people always worry about tire deflection and whatnot, but from what I've heard, tire deflection only goes outwards to the outside of the tire, and it doesn't happen inwards. So I'm hoping the fitment's pretty good. I'm still looking at probably getting a set of these exact same set, just in 295/35, so the taller sidewall. Like I said, I think that'll kind of fill out this gap a little bit better, look even more meaty. But this will fill up this gap a little bit more. It'll still ride pretty well. It'll actually be a little bit better on track. Now I'll have to check if it rubs on turn in, but I think we should be good. The rear has plenty of fitment. So like I said, I threw the 5mm spacer on here in the rear. Not that it had to have it, but I think it looks a little bit better with it. So full track spec going on here now. So car looks good. Hope it drives well. I'm kind of expecting it to feel like super gripped up in the front with these tires on. So when you have it up in the air, or even you look at it from down here, seeing the 295 in the front, it looks pretty crazy, I have to admit. Like, you just look down here in the side and it's just tire all the way to the back. So looks pretty cool. Like I said, this is an 18 by 10.5 squared plus 36 with a 20mm spacer in the front and a 5mm spacer in the rear. Super happy with the way this came out. Like I said, I'll probably update you guys in a later video, that it drives well. I don't have to make any other adjustments. I will have to go get another alignment. I planned on doing that before my next track day anyways. Probably gonna add just a hair more camber in the front. Probably add just a little bit of toe as well. So I was at like 0 toe, and I'll probably go 1/8 toe out total between the front. So just to help a little bit with the turn in. Like I said, I'm not gonna be driving on these wheels on the street other than my test. They're mainly just gonna be a track set. Otherwise, I'll stay with these Apexes. These Apexes have been pretty good to me, but seeing the black now really makes me want to repowder cut these in either a gloss black or a satin black. So we'll have to see how it goes. Like I said, I'm gonna probably go ahead and get some photos this weekend. This looks way better than I thought it was gonna look, and so I just not gonna be able to go without getting some photos. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. This is a little bit of a complicated setup. It's not the easiest to get this to fit. The stock sizes on these cars are a 20, but only a 9-inch wide and a 10-inch wide. Fitting the rears is really easy, but fitting a 10.5 with a 295 in the front isn't the easiest. So if you guys have any questions on, how to make this fit, or what you need to do to your car in order to fit these kind of wheels, or if you have any questions, you know, about purchasing them or setup changes, what ride heights, alignment, you name it, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, that's going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. You know, it was a little bit of a process. Didn't quite go as planned. I wasn't really planning on having to change the ride height. I kind of thought it was going to fit without any changes. Everything's always different. It always takes a little bit of work. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, leave a comment. I'll see you guys in the next video.